The Chiefs game said a lot. It showed us that the Chiefs have a brand new weapon in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who surprised pretty much everyone watching that game in terms of how much he produced. I think he had 10 first half carries. And the Chiefs also showed us a relatively new style of offense that seemed to focus on more of marching down the field rather than chunk plays. And I also believe that a big part of this was, again, the impressive performance of Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs looked like the Chiefs on Thursday in terms of overall production, just with that different play style. And the lack of offensive roster turnover is even more scary now than it was before Thursday. The Chiefs are practically a carbon copy of last year's Chiefs in terms of key players, and given another year to work together and Edwards-Helaire, that team was arguably the least affected by the lack of OTAs in a preseason. Because of this, the Chiefs should be the clear favorites to win the AFC. Again, the Chiefs look like the Chiefs. Granted, it's only been one game, but it was against a tough team. Some other powerhouse teams from last year, such as the Super Bowl losing 49ers, struggled on Sunday. Patrick Mahomes made it clear on Thursday with a 200-yard, 3-touchdown performance that this offense either kept their pace or got a little bit faster since last year's Super Bowl. Now, in terms of the Texans struggled without Hopkins. That was clear. Now, Will Fuller filled the role of the primary receiver well as expected. He's a top-tier receiver, and he proved on Thursday that this isn't going to change with the loss of Hopkins. Fuller put up over 100 yards and 8 catches in his Week 1 debut, but Watson still struggled with a clear lack of pass protection throughout the game, yet he still managed to move the ball. I mean, he put up 250 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The Texans clearly tried to put some weight on the run game with 22 total carries compared to 32 pass attempts. But the Texans moved the ball both on the ground and through the air, but a lack of production outside of Fuller caused the team to struggle on third down and to get into the end zone. Only one receiver besides Fuller had more than 2 catches on Thursday, Jordan Atkins, who had just 3. Clearly, the Texans lacked a clear and away secondary receiving option, which made it tough for Watson to rely on much outside of Fuller at the receiving position. Personally, I expected Brandon Cooks to take over that role well, but he disappointed in Week 1 with just 2 receptions for 20 yards. Again, going back to my initial points before I got into these recaps, maybe Brandon Cooks needs a week or 2 of in-game action in order to successfully build a chemistry with Watson, or even a chemistry with the playbook, really understanding that playbook. But either way, it needs to happen fast for the Texans to find success, especially considering next week's matchup against the Ravens, who just put up 38 points. Now, the Texans' defense also struggled to put heavy pressure on Mahomes for a multitude of reasons. First off, they were only able to sack Mahomes once, and second off, the Chiefs engaged in an offensive play style that was somewhat of a shift from the year before, and a play style that allowed Mahomes to get the ball out of his hands quickly. Last year, Mahomes held onto the ball for a long time because a lot of those plays were chunk plays. When a receiver, even Tyreek Hill with how fast he is, needs to get far down the field to find successful plays, your quarterback needs to hold onto the ball for longer than other quarterbacks. He needs to let that play develop. But Thursday, I should say, Mahomes got the ball out of his hands quickly, and that hurt the Texans' defense. They were unable to get much pressure on him at all. I mean, this new play style also contributed to the dumpster fire that was the Texans' secondary. Overall, the Texans underplayed at nearly every position, and the 2 main problems the Texans need to address in the coming weeks are on offense, with their O-line that allowed 4 sacks on a quarterback that is regularly praised for his ability to avoid the pass rush, and their receiving core that didn't give Watson too many options outside of Fuller.